Hello and welcome to Ink in the Eyes. I'm Ace. With me is Chaz. However, he's broken his camera. So he's brought me here today.
Because we
Part 2 of Warhammer.
Well, you were sick, so
I was sick.
I said part 2 of Warhammer, and then technology.
I'm on the mend. I didn't research this week.
Bested me once more, that wily cat. And now I have no camera. I assumed you'd be sicker, even though you look light and airy. So we're going to do part 2 of Warhammer. What do you remember from last time? Obviously, everything.
Yeah.
Do you remember where we left off?
You know, you were bouncing around a bunch, but you described some of the factions, and that Horus went evil, and the other Primarch. You were describing, I forget his name though.
There was a lot. We bounced around a lot. To be fair, I tried to fit in many books into a half-an-hour episode, and that was silly. However, we finished at the start of Prospero and Mangus the Red, which I think is the best.
Is this in the Horus Heresy?
Side story. This is in the Horus Heresy, yes. So these books were supposed to come out together, but due to the illness of one of the authors, there was a gap in between them.
Oh, is that why you did it when I was ill?
No, they came out years ago.
Well, we're on theme with
we're on theme with that. That is true, actually. Sorry, I was too stupid to pick up on what you were saying.
That wasn't stupid. It was a really obscure metaphor I was making.
So, Mangus the Red. So to start off, what we're going to do is chat a little bit about our good old friend Tzeentch. So, Tzeentch is one of the 4 chaos gods.
Oh yes, you said gods are all evil. There is no good ones.
They're evil for what humans think, but they're kind of, especially when it comes to Nurgle, they're kind of a necessity, because he's the one of like death and renewal. But yeah, the rest of them are kind of more, what we would see as like evil. Tzeentch, he's the god. He represents like ambition, curiosity, like hope and scheming, the desire for improvement and the desire for change. Everything is like changing. So this is another god that isn't necessarily evil. He is just fueled by change and discovery and revolution and positive intentions. What?
What's he the god of?
Basically that. Ambition, curiosity, intelligence. Okay. So it's going for, trying to better yourself. He's kind of...
Last time we talked about the god of rage.
That was Khorne, yes.
Yeah, I found him exhausting.
He is a bit exhausting. It's a bit one note, but the god himself is a bit one note, but his followers aren't. His followers are like Angron and Khan, and people are a bit like tragic heroes of wanting to just basically being fueled by rage, not knowing how to and kind of being a bit puppeteered. It's a bit like puppet mastering when you think of Khorne.
So like the American government.
Yes.
All brainwashed with rage.
All brainwashed with rage. There's a lot of rage in politics at the moment.
Okay, you can talk about the ambition man now.
It's all right.
Is he Prospero?
No, Prospero is the country, is the land, is the planet, the home world of the Thousand Sons of Mangus the Red. But I'm just going to need to tell you about Tzeentch first, because he is going to become integral to the story. Linked a lot with flames, flamers, giant birds. His imagery has included like raven crows, like flames, mutations. He's the god of like magic, psychic, sorcery, mystique, cult. One way of looking at it is like he wants you to think that you're making your own choices. And so, like, it'll be somebody with a noble goal. And, these are a lot in ancient Greece as well, you see these. And we'll go into a little bit of...
Who was he in ancient Greece?
Oh, now you're asking, but...
Yeah. Why did you assume I wouldn't be?
Because I was going to say more about this and you were going to be like, okay.
Shouldn't have dropped that in then if you didn't want me to ask at this point.
True. So it's a classic story of noble goal to try and seek forbidden knowledge, compromised, and then they're compromised again until they kind of give up all the things that made them good in the quest for this knowledge. So Faust, if you've ever read Faust or heard of Faust, which is one of Goethe's...
Is this in real life or in this book?
This is in this book, but I'm linking it on to different like parts of literature.
Sure.
Goethe had a story of Faust who basically like gave up too much Faustian bargain, but we'll get onto him shortly. So if you see how he worked, I just wanted you to have a basis of like how he works, because talking about Magnus, you kind of need to know.
So he's fate. He says predetermination. There is a destiny, you have no choice. Oh, so he says
he wants you to think that, he wants you to make your own choices,
he says
he's
there
puppet
actually
mastering that. Yeah. No, there is still choices, but he's trying to puppet master you.
Oh, so he's like, there is no destiny, but I'm going to manipulate you into doing what I want.
Yes.
So if a god is manipulating you, isn't that, in a sense, fate?
Deep.
Because who are the mortals to stand up against the will of a god?
I hadn't thought about that. That's not how I would have thought of fate, but yeah, I suppose it is. I would have thought fate is like... I suppose no, because you still have the illusion.
So if you just
choice.
don't get involved in religion...
If you don't get involved with Tzeentch, he won't really affect you.
You can make your own decisions.
In theory.
How do you spell Tzeentch?
Tzeentch.
All right.
Tzeentch. He's probably the hardest Warhammer of the 4 Warhammer gods to explain, if that makes sense, because Nurgle is just disease, dead, basically zombies. It's all about death, renewal. Khorne is anger, and Slaanesh is about desire.
Who would you follow?
Who would I follow?
I asked you this once before. I don't know if you remember your answer.
I don't think I remember my answer.
I do.
Oh no.
This is a test.
I'd like to think it would be Tzeentch. Curiosity killed the cat and that. But I don't think Tzeentch would be interested in me. Because I'm not that, I'm not a mover or a shaker. So, Nurgle's probably the least worse. No.
Is that not death?
Yeah,
Wait.
Basically, you're all, poxed and horrible. They're horrible to look at. But his idea of death and renewal is still... It does make a lot... It's not all bad, if that makes sense. But
That's
I'd like
what
to
you
say...
said last time.
Who did I say last time? Slaanesh? Tzeentch.
The death god.
Oh, did I say Nurgle?
Nurgle. Yeah, that's a weird name.
Yeah, probably Tzeentch would be my new fave.
Yeah, psychic powers sounds like, if you gotta study something evil, that's the one you should.
That's the one you should. So, he'll come back into the story, but Prospero, it's a planet where the 1,000 Suns live. So there are 2 books about Prospero. There's Prospero Burns and there's 1,000 Suns. One is, dare I say, far better than the other, which is strange because Dan Abnett, 1,000 Suns. Prospero Burns is written by Dan Abnett and 1,000 Suns is written by Graham McNeill. They're both amazing writers, but Dan Abnett's was written when he was sick. 1,000 Suns by Graham McNeill. It's the story of Magnus and his legion. And then the other one, Prospero Burns, that is from the perspective of the Space Wolves, Boo Hiss, and this historian that's...
Do we hate the Space Wolves?
Hating this story.
Oh, wait, are they the Lunar Wolves? Or is that a different one?
Well remembered.
Okay.
So the Lunar Wolves are Horus's guys. The Space Wolves are Lehman Russ's guys. Space Wolves are, I think you're basically, this is the big division of, or one of the main divisions. You're either with the Space Wolves or you with the Thousand Suns. Now, when I read the books,
as a reader or
as a reader,
Okay.
as a reader, and I was very much so in the idea of the Thousand Suns. I thought they were the goodies, misunderstood goodies in this one. They just wanted to do their own thing and be left alone.
Relatable.
Firstly, we're going to talk about a little bit about Prospero, what Prospero was. Home of the Thousand Suns during the Great Crusade, which is, so when the Great Crusade is happening, this is before Horus turns against the Emperor. So the Great Crusade is basically humanity spreading out and getting back parts of... So humanity is kind of spread out a few times before, but the Emperor kind of unites humanity across loads of different planets. It's in this is year 30,000, around them. So with the Great Crusade, this one is a planet renowned for its like scholarship, philosophy, arcane knowledge, and Tzika, which is spelled Tizca, is
that a
considered
city?
one of the... What's that?
Is it a city?
It is one of the greatest cities of learning in the Imperium.
We should move there.
We should. Now, here we get into the interesting part. This is where they study psychic powers.
Oh, okay.
And its inhabitants include psychers and scholars and mystics and witchy, wizardy people. Which is kind of shunned throughout the entire Imperium, but Magnus is very much like, all information is good information. To learn is to prosper. It doesn't matter what you are learning is good.
What if you're learning misinformation?
Including misinformation. No, because if you have all the information, then you can decide what is misinformation. You're not tricked as easily.
Sure.
I guess, I don't know. I don't have all the information to double check that one. Am I tricked easily? I'm not sure. Probably. I'm quite gullible, actually, so yeah.
You say you're gullible a lot, but I don't think you're any worse than other people I've met. Because your thoughts are fairly securely.
Yeah, I do.
Your opinions
I guess
are secure.
Yeah, I think when it gets to the point of being like, well, why are you lying to me? Do you know what I mean? Like if somebody was like, oh, if it was a big
coming
thing.
up to you and saying something and you believe them and then they're like, oh, haha, you're so silly. Like, why would you just assume...
Well, yeah, exactly. I'm kind of the thing, but if you're going to waste your energy by telling me, I assume there's some reality to it.
Yeah.
But if it's something that's going to affect me, then I'm like, oh, okay, is that... Are you playing guitar?
No, I put a rubber band on my mic stand. It sounded nice.
It sounded lovely. I just didn't know what it was. And obviously because your microphone, your video is frozen on my end, so I'm like, oh. You just whipped out a guitar. That's quite cool. The downfall of Magnus. He doesn't know we'll get into this. He ignores the Emperor's warnings, basically. So
is Magnus a Primarch?
Magnus is a Primarch. He's one of the sons of the Emperor, yes.
And his followers are the Thousand Sons?
Yes.
And does the Emperor come to him and say, you're coming with me?
Not as such, no.
Why did he do that to the man with the pin in his head then?
The pin in his head?
Yeah, he had nails in his head. And was...
Oh, no, he didn't put the nails in the head of...
No, I know, but he just came to the planet and said, you're coming with me.
Oh, to...
Sir.
Well...
Is this a different time period?
This is the same time period, slightly after, I think. Angron comes afterwards. The Emperor's a bit of a dick, and I think that even before Khorne was using Angron, the Emperor was. And keeping him enraged is actually quite good. And I think no one has been good to Angron, if that makes sense. So he didn't like...
Well, why did the Emperor, have such a tight rein on him, but then let Mangus do whatever
he wanted to infuriate Angron more, basically.
Oh,
So he frames it, the Emperor frames it as like saving the life of his son. But actually, it was so that Angron had this hatred for everything because his brothers died, his brothers and sisters. He should have died with his brothers and sisters. So by plucking him out of that situation, he basically has like infuriated him for life.
And
Added
his
to that,
power
he can
was
only,
rage.
yeah,
Whereas
only add
Magnus's power is psychicking.
psychicking and knowledge. Yes.
Okay. You may continue.
So Magnus isn't really warrior-y. He is warrior-y in his sense, but he's more interested in being like, no, we can learn stuff here. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, he's one of the very few that are against wiping out. So when they find like a new culture or a new alien species, the MO is to just wipe them out and then put humanity in there. Whereas Magnus is a bit like, should we keep their libraries and take their books and like learn stuff from them?
Let's kill them still, but like...
Well, basically because his father's like, you're killing them. And so he has to do that. But again, this is laced with massive daddy issues. But,
so if you're a nerd, you like the
Yes.
Thousand Suns. And then if you're a battle-y, fighty person, you like the Lunar Wolves.
Yeah, if you like the Lunar Wolves kind of break up after they don't really exist anymore.
So
In the
if you're a
in the 40K.
misunderstood loner.
In the 40K settings. But Abaddon, who was the right-hand man of Horus, he's still about, but he basically just hates the Emperor. He doesn't really want to... What Abaddon hated is that Horus got involved with the Chaos Gods instead of just being like, fuck the Emperor, which is what he wanted. What the initial idea was.
So Abaddon was already involved with the Chaos Gods.
No.
Oh.
Abaddon came into the Chaos Gods through Horus, basically. But they all got involved. The Lunar Wolves got involved with the Chaos Gods through Erebus and the Word
So
Bearers.
the Lunar Wolves think chaos is evil in the first book, though, right?
Yes.
So why...
Well, they don't know chaos in the first book.
Oh.
But yeah.
But they do think it's evil.
Yeah.
So why, when Horus suddenly is like, we should follow the Chaos Gods, do they not question it?
Well, that takes us to Istvan 3, which
I
was
don't
going
know
to
what
be
that is.
maybe another episode. Istvan 3,
Okay.
put simply, is when all of the guys who are going to rebel. So you've got the Death Guard, led by Mortarion. You've got the Emperor's Children and the Lunar Wolves. I think it is just those three to start off with. Yes, Sons of Horus, Emperor's Children, Death Guard, World Eaters were there. So this is a spoiler, but that's when Loken is possibly killed.
Oh.
Possibly. But basically what happens is that they send all the people who they think are going to be loyal to the Emperor down onto a planet to attack this planet.
And kill them.
And then basically everybody's like, why are we sending such an elite force to wipe this planet out when it would take a percentage, a fraction of us? But no one says anything. They all go for it. But basically it's a double cross and they use a virus bombing to wipe out all of their own army that would
A
be loyal to the
virus?
Emperor. Yeah.
How
It's
does it kill them immediately?
Yeah, it kills everything. It wipes the whole planet out.
That's bad.
It's the only time it's used, I believe. Yeah, it's quite hard. So that's in Galaxy in Flames, which is the third book, and the Flight of the Eisenstein. Yeah. In my head I was always like Einstein, but I'm sure, no, it's Eisenstein, yeah. which is a really good book. Flight of the Einstein is an amazing book, because that's somebody trying to get away and let people know. And you see the first part about the emperor becoming a religion in that book, and where it's where like you see the first part of like how 40k kind of happens.
Oh, so the emperor fully is a religious deity at some point.
In 40k, yes, he is. Yeah. It's a religion now.
Oh, so he's a fifth god.
He's the god against chaos. They see him as.
Oh.
But at this point in 30k setting, he's like, the emperor's like, I'm not a god. There are no gods.
That's strange. What convinces him?
He doesn't convince him. People.
He dies, and people take up his image.
Exactly.
All right. So they don't have an actual god backing them, whereas the other ones do.
No, exactly.
Weird.
Yeah, but some of them aren't. Some of them aren't for chaos. They are just anti-emperor. So you have the four main ones. Death God, he goes to Nurgle. World Eaters goes to Khorne. Emperor's Children go to Slanesh. And
are there any
Sons goes to Tzeentch.
Books for 40k?
Yeah, tons.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, loads.
So they were all part of the same army. And then something happens that they're all separate armies.
No, they were always separate armies, but they all fought under the Emperor.
So they were basically one army, different branches.
Yes. But they all had their own genetic code because they were
But they worked together.
The soldiers are like not a clone, but like a cut-off of their Primarch, if that makes sense.
I mean, no,
yeah.
But yeah.
So imagine if your army was...
all me. I mean, clones of me.
Clones of you. I was going to say like clone of Trump. Do you know what I mean? They all had like a genetic code of Trump. God. That would be a similar thing. Like you have a leader, the deity, and then the...
Why would you say that?
Because that was the easiest way to put it across.
Wait, so they're all genetic code of the Emperor?
The Primarchs are supposedly a genetic code of the Emperor.
Okay.
With a bit of warp in there, but we don't know that yet.
Is warp
a bit of the chaosy gods in there with each of them.
Sure. Okay. You can go back to Prospero.
That's okay. So the Emperor is basically like, you need to be careful about the dangers of sorcery and the warp experimentation, because basically Magnus gets into the part where he knows everything there is to know, so he starts experimenting with the warp. And the warp is how they travel faster than the speed of light, but they don't really know what it is. It's just like a mental sea of how to get around at this point. It's a bit like the unexplored oceans back in the day when it was just like, it just is. Do you know what I mean? It's a dangerous place, don't fuck about. But that's where the Chaos Gods live. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. He thinks he knows what he's doing, Magnus this is, and thinks the Emperor is being overly cautious. This is one of Tzeentch's like favourite things, of you being like, no, I know better. This is what I'm going to do. I'm in the quest for more knowledge. I'm in the quest for X, Y, and Z.
Do you ever see from the perspective of the gods in the books? Because how do you know that's what he likes?
From the gods themselves, I don't believe. Nothing's recalling to memory. Because of how they act. You see demons, like, so they're like right-hand man's, left-hand man, like demons are in it, but the gods themselves, I don't believe so. Maybe you do in AOS, but I don't think you do in this one. I haven't read them all.
How do you know that Tzeentch likes?
Because his demons will be like, this is what's happening. Like you get it over like stories of time and like...
Gotcha. His messengers.
His messengers and things. This leads to the Council of Nicaea. The Council of Nicaea comes about because the Thousand Sons are messing around with the psychic powers more aggressively than others, but everybody kind of has their own psychic bit if that makes sense. So
in the Thousand Sons or in all of the factions?
in all of the factions, pretty much, they all have their own librarians, they're called.
Oh, just one psychic dude.
Like a couple of psychic dudes. Mortarion is very against it, as is Lehman Russ. Lehman Russ is the space... What?
Oh, they're Primarchs.
Yes, they're Primarch. Lehman Russ is the Primarch of the Space Wolves. Now, Lehman Russ has his own librarians. They're called a different thing. They're called rune priests, but they're the same thing. They're psychics, basically. But it's very much do as I say, not as I do. They're a bit hypocritical. Boo hiss.
Boo hiss.
Exactly. Basically, there's like a court summons between everybody where Magnus goes in and basically is like, the Emperor calls together like a council to talk about psychers because Magnus has been told again and again and again, you're playing with something, you're playing with fire here. Magnus argues that like he can master psychic powers. A lot Mortarion and Lehman Russ and everybody say that argue that the warp is inherently dangerous and corrupting. People pass evidence, but eventually the Emperor acts the final judge and says that all Space Marine librarians departments are to be disbanded. Now, Lehman Russ and the Space Wolves don't do this.
Oh, but I thought they hated it.
Yeah, they're supposed to, but they didn't. They don't.
Why?
Because they don't want to, and they do what they want, basically.
But if they hated them, why weren't they excited to get rid of the...
So they see themselves as better. They see themselves as the police of the Space Marines, basically. They're used as a bit of like a police force. So they see that like, we can do this, but you are not allowed to.
Okay.
But they call themselves rune priests, and it's like old magic they see it as.
So because they had different names for their psychics, they think it's fine?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
Now, there's an argument that also the Space Wolves are a bit under Tzeentch as well, and not actually in the Emperor, because they're a little bit like...
In the game, are they?
They fly a bit close to the warp, if you know what I mean. So,
do they use the warp to travel?
Yeah, everybody uses the warp to travel.
Oh.
So the outcome
Chaos
is...
gods ever show up on their ship and go, hello? Need a new deity?
So they have like a Geller field, so they're a bit like sheltered from the warp, basically. They don't really know what they're sheltered from at the start, whereas then they learn what they're sheltered from later. Astartes are forbidden from using any psychic powers.
Do they start, once they realize that they're being sheltered from the Chaos Gods, not wanting to use the warp?
No, I think they all still use it.
You couldn't really travel around if you did.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Astropaths and navigators are still allowed to. Magnus obeys and says, okay. But then he discovers Horus's betrayal. And that's when, if you remember, I said about...
He broke through all the Emperor's psychic defenses.
Exactly. By going to that, he goes into the secret webway project and breaks it, basically. And is like, whoopsie. And so the Emperor goes...
What's the webway?
To do with... He's working on a secret project, which is why he goes back to Terra, to do with the warp itself. So the webway is used by Eldari.
Oh, the Wedway. In Disney, there's a Wedway people mover. It's a little train developed by Walt Disney Imagineering. But I don't think the Emperor would build a little train for Disney World. That seems like a silly secret project because it's really it's just their carts. They're not even.
It's already been done, you could argue.
It's already been done.
Maybe Walt Disney is the Emperor.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And we just don't hear about any of the fighting. We're kept in ignorance.
Mm.
Or we're living in 20K.
Is that like a 4K thing, or is this
No, because
30K?
you're talking about 30K.
Oh,
So we're
I
living
see.
in 20K
I
because it's
see,
the
I
2000s.
see, I
But
see.
in
No, we're
30K,
2000.
this is what's going to happen.
This is what's going to happen next.
Is 30K the year, or is it how many armies they have?
The year. So the Emperor sends Russ to bring Magnus to Terra, and he does not. He fucks shit up. So the Webway was a secret project between Terra, and it was going to be the most important undertaking of human history.
Yeah, that's easy to say when you don't know what the project is.
Exactly.
It's lazy.
And yeah, demons flood the Webway. As we discussed last episode, basically it's like somebody smashing down your front.
Was the Webway what was gonna destroy all the humans?
It was basically a new way of travelling, so they didn't have to go through the warp. Because like Eldari can do it where they don't go through the warp. They're a different faction, they're a different Xenos creature. So Magnus delivered his warnings, but with huge costs. There's the kind of meme where it's Magnus did nothing wrong. You can kind of see what he did was good. Like had he have just said it, like his intentions are always good, if that makes sense. But he did fuck it up. He then basically just refuses to explain himself and is like, nah. He goes back home to Prospero, well, he's always in Prospero. Lehman Russ comes out to sort him out, but the Space Wolves don't really do diplomacy. Magnus obviously knows, he can sense that they're coming, he knows that they're coming, but doesn't defend himself or his people. He withdraws, isolates himself, and accepts his punishment because he does see that he's done bad, but he's silent. He like dooms Prospero. A bit fiddling whilst Rome burns.
He just gave up.
He kind of sees that himself of like, oh, I deserve this. Sacrifices his legion's future. He then realizes that he has been part of Tzeentch's plan. Tzeentch is like, he's Tzeentch's main boy. And so when Prospero falls, which is a very big battle, because eventually like the Thousand Sons do see that the Space Wolves are coming and they're coming aggressively. Like they welcome them first and then they start getting killed. They just get mauled. Then Magnus makes a deal with Tzeentch and is like, can you hide us in the warp? And so that's their complete fall to chaos.
Do they all go crazy?
Kind of. They kind of do, but they in different ways. They're not quite as fucked up as the rest of them. I think this is probably the best chaos god to be possessed by.
Oh, so they're just completely possessed.
Basically. They're humans, but chaos to care. Like, yeah.
So what is it like being possessed by this god?
Well, depending on who you are, isn't it? So, like, to go back to your original one of Khorne's...
You're just angry all the time. Yeah, but
you're just angry all the time. So the Khorne's, like, key phrase is he cares not for where the blood flows so long as the blood flows. So he doesn't even mind if his own people die. He just was like, skulls for the skull throne, blood for the blood god. Just loves fighting, basically.
And then the death god, you look like a zombie. But what about this man?
So they're all like birds, and
they get wings.
There is,
or they have short-term memory.
Yeah, so they have short-term memories. They have wobbly necks.
They have long necks too.
So yes, they do physically mutate into basically like feathers, shifting flesh, constantly changing.
Does this happen instantly?
No.
Like Magnus gives them all up and then suddenly all of them turn into birds and they fight off the wolves.
No, they don't go and fight off the wolves. They basically just go and lick their wounds. There's not that many of them left. They have to use So they have to use a spell to then make more of them, but that is a different topic for a new time. You basically become a puppet of fate. Tzeentches that often believe they're gaining freedom and power will actually be manipulated with plans and plans and plans. So you're always being manipulated.
Why not just accept you don't have free will?
I don't know. you kind of can't tell what thoughts are your own, I suppose you'd say.
All right.
That your body is being written by external forces, and you don't know if your thought is your thought, or if it's Tzeentch's thought, or if it's a demon's thought, and then you kind of go crazy in that respect.
Oh God, that sounds exhausting.
It's very exhausting. But they're like scholars, commanders, scientists seeking
so they're not fighting really. They're just
improvement. So they do have to fight.
Oh. Yeah, that sounds terrible.
So at the end of it, they basically destroy Prospero and the city, raze it to the ground, burn all the books, and so like the best source of human knowledge is
like burning the Library of Alexandria.
Exactly that. So what the Thousand Sons then do is they have to like use the rubric of Ahriman, which is basically they kind of get the old soldiers' souls and they possess suits of armor, if that makes sense.
Oh, so they're ghosts in armor suits.
Basically. So their soldiers aren't real.
Buff out their army?
Ranks. Yeah.
So then why do they have to fight if they just have a bunch of ghosts fighting for them?
Because if they need to fight, if Tzeentch is like, oh, we should go fight him, basically.
But if Tzeentch knows their scholars, aren't they bad?
So basically, the right-hand man was Ahriman, the right-hand man of Magnus, basically gets obsessed with like saving his brothers' lives and fate. And so he makes this rubric.
From fate?
From fate, from the death, from fate, and from death itself, and from losing it to the wars. So he casts this spell called the Rubric of Ahriman, but it doesn't really work. So the Psychers do survive, but they're just like dust in armor and become mindless Rubric Marines, which is one of the parts of 40k today.
Are they the skeletons?
He doesn't... No, they're not even skeletons. They are just dust. Magic dust.
Oh.
So he thinks that he's above. He thinks that he can kind of... Knowledge can save him from chaos, but obviously that makes him like a perfect servant for Tzeentch, because, again, that arrogance and hubris is perfect for a god that wants you to be striving like that. He's one of the most powerful chaos sorcerers. So that's where they are at the moment. Not very many of them. That's the Thousand Sons. The problem why is the Space Wolves just go in and crack heads. There's no like subtlety
so he's
to
the
them.
bullies.
People love the Space Wolves.
Why?
I listened to a podcast called Warhammer where they call them the Space Furries, which I love because that's very good. I just feel them are a bit like Emperor's boys. Not a big fan. Whereas the Thousand Sons are cool, and they got rid of the Thousand Sons, so I'm on the Thousand Sons side. It's a big division of 40k.
That's really interesting. So some people read it and think, these knowledge whippersnappers.
Yeah,
that's
some people
dangerous.
like that. Some people like the Space Wolves because they're kind of a law unto
We need to
themselves.
kill
They're
them.
hard as fuck. They're alpha male. Pow. Good
I was going to say, I
fighters.
wonder what the psychological implication of this is, but I think I've just figured that out.
Whereas I personally, Thousand Sons would have been the army I collected first, but they are the hardest to paint.
Are they the hardest to
They are
play?
notoriously difficult. So they're gold and blue, which is the same as my Tyranids, but there's a lot of very, very fine pieces. And so obviously if you mix gold and blue, it goes green and like tacky. But also because they're like the sorcerers
They have
and
wings.
the... What?
He has a wing. They have wings.
Oh yeah, they're cool. I think that's going to be my next army, even though I'm definitely not supposed to have another army.
How many armies do you have?
None.
None?
I have 3. I have Orcs, Tyranids, and Salamanders. Now, Salamanders, with my Space Marine ones that I did play at the start just to
Do you
learn the
have
game.
the tree people, or did you just talk about getting them?
Oh, that's AOS. So I haven't really built up the tree people.
But you still have them.
I got some tree people. Only a few, just to paint them up.
Enough to have an army?
No, an army is quite big. You need quite a lot to have an army.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. So I've got like Tyranid into 40k. I've got Salamanders, which were just basically if you collecting Leviathan, collecting box sets, basically, you do end up with Space Marines, and then like you end up buying some and what have you. So most people have a Space Marine army.
So they just throw in a Space Marine here and there.
So some people collect them, collect them. But like I got the new box set called Armageddon, and it comes Space Marines versus Orcs. So the last one was Space Marines versus Tyranids. I wanted to collect Tyranids, so I got the last.
So you have two Space Marine.
So I have Space Marines as well. I have added to that collection, so I could, but like mainly it's just the Space Marines.
So most people have a really good Space Marine army.
Some people will have, some people are well into the Space Marines, but they'll have like, some people will be well into their Space Marines, like me, generic ones, or some people will be well into like the Blood Angels or Space Wolves or Death Guard.
Is it always the army versus the Space Marines, or is it like...
Kind of, they always have like an antagonist. So this season, this edition, it's the Orcs. Now, it doesn't change anything for the gameplay. It just means that...
like, all the box sets this season are against the Orcs?
Not all the box sets, but if you were picking up a starter set, that would be Orcs versus...
something.
Space Marines.
Oh, so next season they might have a different one versus Space Marines.
They will have a different one. So in 3 years' time, there'll be a new box set, which is someone versus someone.
Okay. Is it always Space Marines?
It will more likely be Space Marines versus somebody.
Okay. That's
all. But I think Thousand Suns will be my next one. But I wouldn't do them in the normal blue and gold because my Tyranids are blue and gold.
I sent you a photo of one with purple.
Oh, you sent me a photo of one. Yes, see, I like the purple ones.
I like the purple fire.
Yeah, see, they look fun to paint, but like they take forever. And because they're like the sorcerers, the scholars, the intelligent guys, you can't like have them look messy. Their lore is that they're very clean and very organized. So you need it to be like you need them to look shit hot.
Play? Like, do they take a lot more strategy than some of the other ones?
Yeah, exactly. They have a very high skill floor and a big skill ceiling. So if you're really good with them, you will like dominate because you're almost playing like a different game. You're like your strategies will be able to impede other people's strategies, and you're kind of doing this, and this. But if you don't know all your rules inside out, like I was chatting to a guy I was playing the other day against Admech. And I was like, there's a lot of rules for this. And he was like, every army is easy once you've played like Thousand Suns because you just have to know all of the rules of your army. Otherwise, you're just not going to get the best out of them. So I think because I do Orcs and Tyranids, Orcs especially, there's a bit of finesse to them. But like rules-wise, I do Court of Speed, which is just run at the guys and run at them with big buggies and shoot them up and fight.
So is that effective against the... sneaky librarians?
Can be.
All right.
They'll have their little tricks and stuff, but still fuck them up. I'm sure I've told you this before, but Orcs are based on British football fans. So there's no real thinking. It's just, doesn't matter if you lose the fight, it's about the fight itself. And they can't fall to chaos. So they can't fall to these chaos gods because there's nothing. They don't have a brain? No, they do have brains, but like, there's nothing the chaos gods want. There's nothing the chaos gods can offer them, like in exchange for their souls, because they just don't really have. They're just like, well, we're here to scrap, and that's it.
So they're not rage because they like.
No. So they don't. They aren't angry. They're happiest when they're fighting.
All right.
So they've kind of.
Does that seem relatable to you and your culture?
I mean, and British football fans, yes, 100%. definitely back in the day, like the 80s and 70s, 80s and 90s, it wasn't really about anything. It was just going for the scrap.
So they didn't care about football. They just wanted to
Yeah, kind of.
wrestle each other.
Now, since then, British football fans are good as gold.
Do you legally have to say that?
No, they just, loads of them had their passports taken off them.
Because they kept fighting?
Yeah. So if you were done with if you were done with football violence back in the day, you were banned from travelling.
Wow.
Whether that was by travelling in general, but it was definitely like the World Cup. Like, people would not be allowed to go to, like, the USA, for example.
How long was it taken away for?
Don't know offhand.
That's crazy.
But some people, like, aren't allowed to go to the gate. Like, I've watched documentaries where, like, they're not allowed to go to the stadium or around the
That makes
stadium.
sense. If you start a fight in a stadium, if you're banned for life, that makes sense. But getting your passport taken away is... I mean, I think a lot of Americans don't have their passport, but still.
No, but it's a bit
banning any
embarrassing,
travel
isn't it?
for
If your
life?
country was renowned for, like, hooliganism, which ours was, it is quite embarrassing for your country. So you're just like,
That's true.
you're not travelling.
Yeah. All
Yeah.
right.
Whether they
people
still do
annoyed?
that, I don't know. But that was one of the things they used to do, definitely.
Were people annoyed, or were they like, yeah?
Most people were not annoyed. Most people were like, the thing is, most people that support England are just
not.
normal people.
Yeah.
But there is like,
you just get a few loud ones.
you get a few loud ones, and because they have the notoriety, everybody is like, oh,
We don't
look.
want the British here.
we don't want the British here. English here, not the British. English.
We don't want the English here.
Yeah.
That's even worse.
Yeah. So the Scottish were just as bad, but they get away with it a lot more.
Why?
Because after the whole colonialism thing, the
They
greatest
can
trick, there's a comedian that
blame
says
everything on you.
They're basically, the Scottish, like, sidled up to Ireland, and when a comedian says this, they're basically being like, oh, it was awful, wasn't it? Yeah, we were under their rule as well. Yeah, it was awful. It's like, excuse me, you were right there beside us, absolutely loving life. Like, Elgin marbles was stolen by a Scottish man. Elgin was a Scottish man. Like, they're in the British Museum, but he was Scottish. He took them, like, amongst other things. Now, I'm not saying England are great. Historically, not that great. But we weren't alone in the fight. Do you know what I mean?
You earned no loyalty.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. Once the money ran out, Elmore was like, it's the crazy gang. And that's that.
That's the way the dominoes fell.
So, read Goethe's Faust.
Should I?
One of the greatest pieces of German literature. It's very
How long is it?
similar to this.
Is it sad?
Probably.
Have you read it?
I haven't, but I will do. It's on my reading list now. Because Magnus resembles Faust. Seek of forbidden knowledge, believe they can master dangerous powers, ignore the warnings, and end up being manipulated and
By a
fucking up.
chaos god?
By chaos gods. Well, they're not chaos gods, but you're gaining something extraordinary by
What is he gaining?
accepting hidden or devastating costs. I'm not telling you. I've told you what Magnus is.
He's a psychic, but
He's
something
gaining.
tells
What he's
me
gaining is like the knowledge and the power.
Faust is not a psychic.
Now, my theory is that the Emperor had to get rid of him because he was more powerful psychic than the Emperor.
And he was jealous.
So, exactly. Now, one of the reasons why this...
Didn't you say it was Horus who sent them?
Well, Horus kind of organised this because he needed to get rid of both of the armies. So what he was hoping is that the Thousand Sons would stand up to the Space Wolves, and because they were so powerful, both of them would just destroy themselves and wipe themselves out. What he didn't bet on is that Magnus would be like, woe is me, I fucked this up, I've done wrong, and his guys would get killed. So Magnus was, Horus was very much like, I'm going to put these two, probably my most dangerous competitors, I'm going to make them enemies and fight them, because Magnus was a better psyker than Horus, and Lehman Russ was possibly a better fighter, maybe not, but
How
the
does
Space Wolves
Horus
would have given him a kicking.
get rid of the Emperor?
What's that?
How does Horus get rid of the Emperor?
Oh, we'll do another episode on that. Probably
does he
not
get
tomorrow,
rid of
next time, because I
the
feel like I'm
space?
absolutely just talking at you. What?
How does he get rid of the space wolves?
We'll find out in the future. Every time you get a cold, we'll do a little bit of this.
I don't get sick that often.
I know, you haven't. They've been waiting to do this for ages.
Oh, I feel like I usually don't get sick in the summer.
No.
This was the first time in many years.
It
So you got lucky.
It was finally hot here.
Is it sunny?
It's sunny.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's sunny.
in
It's
time for you
hilarious
to
because
leave.
it's sunny for the first time this year, literally, and everybody is decreeing the end of the world, and it's
Why? Because it's
red.
too hot?
We've got red temperature warnings. We've got absolutely people losing their tiny minds. It's very funny.
Are the trains stopped?
The trains have said that they're delayed and stopping because the tracks are buckling.
The first time my family came to England, it was a heat wave, and a bunch of the tube lines were not running. And wow.
Yeah. We're excellent for.
Y'all shut down. It's kind of fun.
It is kind of fun unless you're trying to run a country, and then it gets kind of a bit annoying.
I'm not.
Yeah, or live in a country. Basically, everybody just. It used to be quite good because everybody just put tools down. Because we get one sunny week a year, so everybody just goes, "Nah, I'm not going to work today. Fuck that. I'm going to the pub." So pubs are full, and it is a World Cup summer. Even though people aren't really that excited about the World Cup this year.
Is it because it's in the US?
Possibly.
Are you still in it?
We are still in it, although we played shit against Ghana.
Did you beat them? Or did you
No,
lose?
we drew against Ghana. Beat Croatia 4-2, played terribly against Ghana, and not to take it away from them, Ghana played amazingly. Like everything they did, they just shut down every attack. They played really, really well. I think we've got Panama next. I don't
How
know
many
how
rounds are there?
I don't know how the US are doing. So you're in a group stage at the moment. I'm guessing you had quite a easy group, didn't you?
Do they do that because we get to arrange them?
So you're against Turkey next. So USA, you beat Australia 2-0, you beat Paraguay 4-1, and then you're against Turkey, which is...
Is Australia big football?
No. They can play quite well, but no. So there's a possibility you're going to be playing Iran.
Oh, I heard at work yesterday the Iran team is staying in Tijuana because they don't want to stay in the U.S.
I mean, I wouldn't. If I was Iranian...
Yeah, I wouldn't want to.
I'd be like, I don't want to stay in a country that has just invaded us. Thank you very much. Because
understandable.
I've got a feeling I'm going to go missing.
Yeah. The person who told us too was like, to be fair, it's probably more fun in Tijuana.
Yeah, but they're not having much fun, are they? They're a
No, it's interesting.
high group of athletes who are...
I wasn't really in this conversation. I was just in the break room and they were talking about it. And he also said Iran has a lively nightlife, so they'll probably really enjoy and fit in Tijuana. But surely they're practicing. Like, I mean, it's probably a little bit of a vacation, but do you think
No,
they really
it'll be good. It'll be early nights, bath and beds.
That makes more sense.
Yeah, should be. But there is a possibility that you will face them, which would be glorious if that was true.
Well, if they win.
No, because you have to win your group and then they come second in their group.
Right, but you're saying if we play them, it'll be glorious.
Well, it'll just be very funny. I think it'll be the most watched sporting game, I think.
Yeah, it would probably be the most watched game, except for maybe the final.
Yeah.
It'd be funny if it was the final.
Yeah. I think that USA are going to be in the final this year.
Me too, because it's probably rigged.
Yeah, exactly. You can't offer somebody a peace prize and then a little here and there, a little referee giving a good decision here and there, obviously. Like, if you guys
win...
win...
I think we don't do well because they're not dramatic, and so the refs
No, you don't
never
do well because
favoured
you're not a
them.
footballing nation. Like, you've started to become one, but no one was that arsed. You have your own world championships where you play against your own team, which is interesting.
Okay. Thank you for listening to Ink in the Eye. This has been Warhammer
I can't
with
see you, by the way.
Charles. Even better. Tell me what photo I should put over Charles's unseen face for the next episode. Any last words?
No, I thought we were getting on so well. Right, goodbye, everybody.